Really good. How are you?
It's
Well, we're sat here
very cold.
Sat here at the tail end of Cyclone Boris. Another Boris screwing us over, but I guess at least this one told us the truth about what was going to happen, opposed to lying through its blonde hair and big mouth. But otherwise, it's absolutely beautiful. We're sat here by the fire, waiting to hear what you've got to say to us, Tony. Who are you asking the question to?
Okay, we are at 28 Starry Glog, so Polybilia's new home, the new company that's Polybilia. We signed contracts on the 14th of August, which is a month ago now, and we've been here ever since, tidying up, cleaning, preparing, planning, figuring out what we're going to do. We wanted to start a herb farm in Croatia. We've loved Croatia for years, and we thought the climate would be really, really good for growing herbs. We've struggled a little bit with the climate in Ireland, and that hasn't grown quite as much product as we'd like, and we thought the growing season in Croatia will be a lot longer. We were hoping to be able to buy land privately, but we can't. We had to set up the company Polybilia to be able to buy the land, because as British people we can't buy agricultural land in Croatia. So Polybilia was born, and we found this beautiful place, and eventually we're able to buy it.
Hello again. Oh, thank you. Oh, the vision. It's multifaceted, really. Obviously, what Sue has already said is perfectly correct. We wanted to set up a beautiful herb farm here in Croatia. For me personally, though, it was another challenge that I wanted to engage with. I've wanted to grow herbs for a long time, and as you start to get on a bit, I'm 60 now, you start to think about your own mortality and what challenges you still want to undertake before starting to wind down. And this is a really physical challenge, so it was a physical challenge that I wanted to engage with, really just to prove that I still can. That was one of my motivations. I wasn't ready to just sort of sit and drink gin and tonics every day. I wanted a change of scenery, and the current businesses that we have been great. We started in 2012 together, and as they develop, what inevitably happens is you go from doing what you love to going what you don't love, dealing with squabbles with staff, dealing with admin, dealing with spreadsheets, dealing with accountants.
Thanks.
It was time to get back to doing something really, really down to earth, and you can't get more down to earth than growing plants. That was the motivation. That's what set the vision in place. And so you ask about what's the vision. Obviously create a herb farm here on the sort of 5 hectares or so that we've got, growing multiple plants. But also we want to expand it so that we're helping other people within the village to create more crops for us. In the end, I would like us to be growing nearly every European herb that we use in the Materia Medica and that herbalists use in their Materia Medica and that are used in the trade. That's the vision.
Well, also, yeah, what Tony's just said, but also sustainability is really important to us. It's become really clear over the last few years that the herbal supply chain is quite precarious. People don't know the detail of how the herbs are grown or harvested, where they come from, how they're treated, how the people doing that growing and processing are treated. All of that was becoming increasingly important to us as well, and we started that with the project in Ireland. So we started growing based on agroecological principles and we're continuing that here as well, because it gives us control over the supply chain. If we're growing, we can say to our customers, to the end users of the product, it was grown over there. We can show you the plant. We planted it, we grew it, we harvested it, we then shipped it wherever it's going to go. So it gives us complete transparency within the supply chain, and the control and the ability to create jobs for local people. So we're going to need to employ extra staff because we can't do it all on our own.
And partly also, one of the reasons you're here, only one, but one of them, is that we want to video document a lot of it, so that not only can we say it was grown here, but there are going to be videos and photography and everything showing the whole process, warts and all, everything that goes right, everything that goes wrong, and so people can see what a genuine task it is to get something like this off the ground. But we want to prove that a herb growing enterprise can support a family, can support a living for a number of people and their colleagues. At the moment around this area, almost all of the cultivation is corn. I mean, there's corn everywhere, and to move away from just corn, just intensive agriculture, and creating that biodiversity with this sort of project will hopefully be a small showcase. Look, we're little people, it's a small showcase for more people in the region.
We started looking last year, and initially we were looking around in Istria because that's where we're based. Land over there is particularly expensive, so we just started looking around further inland, and we came across this place on a estate agent's website. 15th of April was the first time we came here and looked around, and just completely fell in love with the place.
Yeah. And when we came here, Sir and myself actually just sat down not far from where we are now on this wall, and we sat here for 3.5 hours, and we looked at the watches of it and went, oh my, we've been here for 3.5 hours, and it just felt like the place was keeping us here. And then when our friends and partners, Andy and Daft, came here, again, we sat down here. 3 hours later, we're like, oh, it's happened again. And it was like a calling. This place was like a calling. We love it. There's just a feel that we get from the place.
Pretty much everything was way more challenging than we initially thought. Right from the very beginning, working through all that bureaucracy, all the layers of bureaucracy we had to go through, all the hoops we had to jump through just to get the company open, to get a bank account, to find an accountant. It was all really, really, really hard work.
And this place is owned by like 4 or 5 people within the same family, some of whom don't speak to each other. And the place has been empty for a number of years. Lots of things don't work, so you come to the water pump and oh dear, it doesn't work anymore. You come to some of the electricity, oh, it doesn't work anymore. The electricity to the oak house has been switched off, and oh, we've now got to get a safety certificate.
A month later, we still don't have electricity and water over there.
Yeah, so there are challenges, but I guess pretty early on we were aware that there were going to be a number of pitfalls, and sort of accepted that it's going to be a little bit challenging. It's certainly not the lap of luxury that you would expect to live in the UK at the moment. Are we really looking forward to it?
We are.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Maybe we're looking forward to it.
But everything is physically really, really hard. Sanding the floors, we spent 3 days sanding the floors, and we were
You might have spent 3, I spent 6.
creaking and groaning. And
But also we've got great people around us with this project, which is really nice. We've obviously got you, Tone. Little Tony, I'm Big Tony, because I'm bigger and fatter than she is.
Just to show on camera. Hi.
Hello.
That's me. That's me. Hi.
As you can see, she's an introvert, very quiet. We have a wonderful director in Vesna who just helps us just to look after things, make sure we've got good lawyers and things like this. Andy, our colleague from the UK, is a real workhorse, and when he comes out here, he just gets stuff done, some stuff that I just can't do. We've got James that we bought it from, who isn't just an estate agent. He's been acting as an advisor, introducing us to people. So we've got a good little team of folk that are helping us out and making sure we are speaking with all the right people here, which is absolutely brilliant.
Well, the future plans are to get crops in the ground next spring, so we'll be able to start harvesting next summer. The longer term future is once we've sort of maxed out the growing areas here with everything that we can manage to fit into this space of land, then we'll look to liaise with other local people, see if they will either grow certain things for us, or whether they'll lease us some land.
Or we might buy a bit more land.
Yes, we could maybe buy a bit more land.
Not far from here, actually, that grow one or two things that we don't intend to grow, notably chamomile. Croatia has the best chamomile in the world, and it's kind of known to be the best chamomile in the world, and lots of it's organic. So we'll be working with a couple of other companies semi-local to here, so that we can buy chamomile, introduce more Croatian chamomile into the UK.
It would be really nice to work with local wild harvesters if we can find people that still have that traditional knowledge, because here you see everybody's got like pots of things on their doorsteps that they've harvested and they've put into vinegar or rakia or whatever. There's a huge local tradition of using wild harvested herbs, so it would be really nice if we could also act as a collection and processing point for locally wild harvested material as well.
And that's a good point about the processing. We can process herbs to a given point. We have the dryers coming in and all that sort of equipment. But eventually we might like to create some sort of like higher value by doing our own extractions here, possibly tinctures, possibly dried extracts of some description, so that there's a sort of beginning to end point rather than the lower value work being done here and the higher value work perhaps being done elsewhere. So we'll look at that. It's kind of a 5-year plan. We've learned a lot from the mistakes that we've made historically. That's obviously a key thing to future success. Learn from what you did wrong the first time and don't do it wrong the second time. And that's what we're going to do over the next 5 years. So by that time I'm 65, and I'm probably not going to want to be working 10 hours a day planting plants and
Probably
doing
not.
all that really kind of hard graft, but I would still love to be overseeing it, which is my long-term intention, to just keep overseeing everything that we've built since 2012.
It's been a real roller coaster. It's a very cliched thing to say, but I can't think of a better word for it, because one minute you're kind of going, oh look, it's so beautiful and there's gorgeous sunshine and you've just had a lovely conversation with somebody that's really happy about what we're doing, and the next minute you feel like
Boris has come.
you're banging your head against a brick wall just trying to get rubbish collection sorted out, or trying to get a tradesperson to come and actually rock up when they say they're going to rock up, and then the weather does this to you and it's absolutely freezing, and because the plumber hasn't managed to come, we don't have any heating, hence the big fire. So yeah, it's really up and down all over the place. It's really been quite challenging, but overall you know, we wouldn't have taken it on. I mean, it's a crazy thing to do, to take a house that needs a lot of work and uncultivated fields and turn them into a herb farm. But that was always the plan. So that's what we're going to work our socks off to do.
And if you're not feeling something, you're not feeling all the time when you're doing your work, you just might as well be dead. You know,
Yes.
you need to stimulate your mind, your body, your soul, and if you're not doing something that you love, and if it's the one thing I think that you would say to anybody, do what you love. Make sure you find something that you love and do it. Don't sit in this humdrum world of 9 to 5 nonsense. You start to feel, I'm not done yet. I've got something else to do, or we have got something more that we collectively want to do. And this is that. I think we've covered everything. For me, we just hope that a few people watch this and a few people get inspired to follow their dream and to do what they really want to do. That would be the most important thing that this video and others that we do could give to even just one person. Then that would be fantastic. And if you just enjoy what we're doing and you like to laugh at us, that we're fucking idiots, that's great as well.
That's absolutely fine.
Just watch, you know, we're not Jeremy Clarksons, we haven't got a Lamborghini tractor yet.
We've got a small tractor.
Yet. And we just want you to enjoy what we're doing, and if you want to like it and do all that sort of nonsense, oh God, no, I'm not even going to say that. It's like nonsense. Just enjoy, and if you want to watch us, great. If you don't,
I'm just gonna call you, but you have to stay tuned for the next episode, because then you're gonna see actually where we are.
oh, you're going to do Usain Bolt?
I'm kidding.